Merry post-Christmas. We have a slew of stuff that came in today. This is the 26th. So, of course, a lot of mail that got stuck behind came in today. So this is what we're going to go through real quickly and just make sure everything is legitimate, as most of these purchases were on eBay. So, well, you just got to be aware that fakes are an actual thing. So, and also how people are doing their packaging and everything else. This is for a lightly played, or MP possibly, Rofellos. And Rofellos is an interesting card, and here's why I like picking up Rofellos. TCG mid is somewhere around 25, 30, something like that for a decent condition one. They are reserve list cards, so you'll never see them reprinted. And they were banned in Commander a few years back. Now, originally they were allowed in Commander. They just were not allowed to be used as the Commander. Now, what is the ability of Rofellos that is so dangerous to people? Well, all right, so we had a nick right there. By the way, when you see a nick like that, 99% of the time, right off the bat, it's an authentic card. Just because you're not going to go through the pain of damaging a card like that if you're trying to sell a fake one. In general, people won't. And then get it demoted, whatever the MP or HP condition it would be. So when you're selling fakes, most people try to get full value out of them. A little nick right there, right there. So this would probably be, the front would be, I would almost call that an HP mark, and then the back MP, overall MP. I always grade on a curve when it's reserve list cards. But just from the feel of this, I have several Rofellos. Anyway, let me get back to what I was talking about just a second. Add 1 green mana to your mana pool for each forest you control. So I'm going to do a more in-depth conversation about this card, but just like Flash Hulk was unbanned, Painter's Servant was unbanned, I feel sometime in the future this commander could get unbanned. Now, why? Well, because there's already one very similar to this that is already legal in the format, and that would be the mono green Savala. And that actually has a little bit better ability to generate mana based on late game plays, and it can draw you cards too. So I actually think that that card could, because that one's legal, this one could see an unbanning. What else? Well, honestly, you're locked into mono green, which is a great color. It's one of my favorite colors. It is my favorite color, actually. And it's an elf, again, my favorite tribe. But that being said, you are locked into certain things when you have this. And so that creates some issues. And, well, what do you know? The very popular ringing of the dogs. So that's how that works. Anyway, so I'm going to just check this real quickly using the ability, the microscope and the doodah and the hoo-ha and all that stuff. So we've got magic right here. I can see the symbol right there very easily. It spells out magic, so that shows me an authentication. I'm going to look through the old microscope right here. And, of course, I got the one without a light on it, so that makes me extra awesome. Yeah, no light on either side. Awesome, awesome, to the max. But from what I can tell here, based on the very limited amount of light that I have, because I'm too stubborn to stand up and get this, whatever. I would call this 100% authentic, and as you stare at this in mournful silence, I will continue to talk and try to find the doodad that has the doohickey in it. We use very technical terms here at the Basement Games. Doodad and doohickey are actually specific terminology. So we're going to try this again now that we have a battery, which is a doohickey. Okay. And we're even going to try it on the correct one. There we go. So as I do, I'm checking basically to make sure that the lettering is not digitized. And what I mean by digitized is it's not all in one fell swoop. So when you're looking through this and you're trying to figure out if you have an authentic card, if your lettering has the same hexagonal symbols, you know, you see all those little symbols? I wish I could point at them. They look like little tiny octagons. If the lettering in the text box has the same octagon appearance, if you will, then it's a fake. And the reason being is all Magic cards use a 2-step printing process. They print the art, they print all this lettering, all the box, and then they make sure that this particular box lettering right here is a second printing to be as clear and easy to understand as possible. So that's why that's there. And that's why it's a good and easy way to check. And then, of course, there's the back of the card, which is not 100% foolproof. So just be aware of that when you're looking for this green. What you're basically looking for here, let's get nice and close. You're looking for, if it'll clarify, there we go. You're looking to see if there's any red dots over there. And what the red dots are is basically a continuation of the hexagons or the octagons in the green symbol and a little bit of red flecking. Because what they do is they add the entire border here first, and then they put the green dots on in a secondary, or all the dots on in a secondary printing process. So these are literally layered on top of the background of the card. That's why sometimes you'll see a little bit of red flecking, like 3-4 dots that have red in them, and it's basically a continuation of this border underneath the green label, and that's one of the checks they do. But this definitely checks out to be an authentic card. I've spent far too much time on it, but as I always do, I also show you how all cards that are non-foil, unless there's some reason that they're not printed standard to every other card, so Battle Bond cards come to mind and Portal 3 Kingdom cards come to mind. Almost every card, 99% of the cards, weigh 0.06 if they're standard and don't have foiling on them. So 0.06, that's exactly what that shows us right there, 0.06. So we have an authentic Rofellos right there. Okay, let's move on to the next one. And we're just gonna get this going real quick. And hopefully I don't accidentally cut the damn card in half. That would suck. All right, so our next card is a Concordant Crossroads, another pet card of mine. Now, this is not a reserveless card. That is worth being aware of. Not a reserveless card. Wow, that was pretty terrible. There's no inner sleeve here at all, huh? No, just threw it right in. It's not a terribly expensive card either. You can pick these up for around $20 TCG, or if you're getting good deals, you can get them around $10 to $15. This feels a little different. Again, things that kind of protect you when it comes to forgeries. What's the value of the card? Most people are not going to forge Soul Rings because they're ubiquitous, they're everywhere, and they cost under $5. Concordant Crossroads are not everywhere, but they're not terribly expensive either. This is almost not worth forging at current prices. If prices somehow get much more expensive, then you could see more forgeries on the market. But this one, as is, doesn't appear to be a forgery. This is from Chronicles, so it has the reprint like it's the legend symbol, which was the original printing, but the white border signifies that it is from the Chronicles set, which was the massive reprint set they did many years ago. Not too different from how the Modern Masters set. All right, so we have 0.06, so the weight looks pretty good. Of course, it never seems to work when I put it in the camera. I'll do a quick check on the other things, such as the wording and lighting. Okay. So as you can see, it almost has a 3D quality when you're looking at it, where the text looks like it's popping off of the octagons or hexadecimals, or someone can tell me what fucking geographic symbol that is that I'm looking at, those little shits that are all over text boxes. Anyway, so that definitely authenticates that. Let's do a little light check behind and just make sure we can read the magic symbol. Little trickier, but I'm also in bright daylight, so it's a little harder for everyone to see. So it looks like, yes, there's the M. Sorry about the blue light there, M-A-G-I-C. You do see it if you look at it. You have to cross your eyes and step on things 2 or 3 times, but you can actually see the magic behind the waterfall, and it's kind of going back and forth. That's a pretty cool thing. So why is this a pet card real quickly? It is not a reserveless card. Oh, you know what? That's interesting. Creatures can attack or use abilities. That's interesting to me because that looks like different lettering that I'm familiar with, but I'm sure I'm just mistaken. Now, here's something nice. When you have an extra backup copy, you can always check and confirm. Yes, that is actually the proper lettering as the other Concordant Crossroads will tell me. So that's all good. Why do I like this card? I like this card just as a pickup because it's one of the only abilities in green that gives your creatures haste. It does it for 1 green mana, which is super value. Anytime you need to just go off, this will get you there. And it's a world enchantment, which has some unique abilities to it to begin with. Yes, your opponents can take advantage of this if you let it out too early. But as you can see, some crazy shenanigans could happen if you put this together with the right things. Okay, so that's why I like picking those up. They are not reserve list. but I do just generally like them. I think they're a good card. I think they have great ability in EDH, and until something comes along in green, because red has things that do that all the time. But this was around a time when the pie wheel was, and the pie wheel, of course, is these 5 colors, was not as established as it is now, where they don't give haste most of the time to creatures in green anymore. That's a red ability. Green almost always gets trample. So this is one of those few times when they kind of broke their own pie wheel. Kind of also like Song of the Dryads, also, according to Mark Rosewater, was a pie wheel break because it allows you to basically convert anything into a tree, which is on theme, I feel, in green, but he feels that because it allows you to get rid of creatures too, it's too broken. So that's definitely Rosewater's opinion and not necessarily mine. All right, so our next Etsy, eBay, okay. Another Rofellos, okay, so a third Rofellos popped in, our second on camera. Let's take a look at this. This one's definitely much nicer condition. Feels about the same as the previous Rofellos. Again, not likely to see many fakes of this just because they're not a terribly expensive card. These are around the $20 mark, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on how you get. This one's actually really nice condition. I am just going to look at this under the microscope real quick. I'm feeling pretty satisfied. Again, thankfully, out of hundreds of items I've opened from packages from eBay and from Facebook and all over TCG, less than 5% have had forgeries or fakes. And a lot of the time, they immediately catch you off guard as the print looks weird, the sheen looks weird, the coloring looks weird. Something gets your attention that makes you think, maybe this isn't right. So thankfully, if you handle a lot of cards, especially older cards like I do, you're almost always in tune with how they look, they feel, they smell sometimes, and just if they've been played an excessive amount. This one, of course, I don't know if you can see this, has a little tiny line. This is actually a manufacturer defect. You see that line right there? This went on, and Rudy from Alpha Investments actually does this on foils that you can see, like Grim Monoliths and stuff like that. This is actually from the manufacturer, so this was done while it was on a sheet, and basically another card got on top of it, or just an incorrect cutting from a previous edition, like it was, the sheets were on top of each other, and this cut in a weird way, and this little indentation came through on the back here. Other than that, a near flawless card. Doesn't look like it's seen a whole lot of play at all. So that looks real nice. And I'll weigh it, and I'm gonna guess 0.06. Yep, we are good. So that's another authentic one. 3 for 3 today on the eBays. Let's move to the next one. This little package right here. Now, why am I doing this? One, just for content, but also because this is how you confirm in case someone ever sends you a fake and then you try to claim, hey, it was a fake. They can counter-sue, or not counter-sue, they can counter-attack you and say, oh, well, they were sent a real card, but then they opened it and are trying to replace it with a fake card. That is a scam that does go on. It's about as often as people giving away pot for Halloween, but it does happen. I don't think actually pot gets given away because that shit's expensive. Anyway, another Concordant Crossroads. What do you know? Let's take a look at this one. Looks pretty good, just based on what I'm familiar with on the card. Nice solid condition here. Looks fairly authentic, but we'll take it under the microscope real quick and take a double check. So we have... So I'm just slowly kind of upping my position in the various cards. So that is definitely a 2-step printing process. And turn that off. We will weigh it since the scale's on. 0.06. We put the light behind it where you can see the magic from behind. That one's nice and clear, very easy to see that one. Gonna call that an authentic right off the bat, no hesitation there. But as you can see, what am I collecting? Well, one, I collect green staples because I play green and I just love the color. So there are definitely staples in blue and black and other colors, but green and white, I'm very, very familiar with their abilities, their limitations, and cards that may be broken in various formats. And that's why I particularly like just a couple of these. Pet cards. I can't say that they're gonna be good long-term investments, but when the market is going right, these cards definitely go up. All right, 2 more quick packages. Let's see what we have here. Okay, this is quite a wrapping. This is from I don't know who, but this is definitely an eBay. I can't read the name. So that's interesting. I mean, I've used plastic bags before. This is a variation of that, I guess. Kind of amateurish, to be quite honest. All right, and what was this card? Yeah, very amateurish considering that this was a duel. I got a duel in this one. All right, so this particular vendor took quite a long time to get to me and has a very low grade. So if you're looking for a card that is forged a lot, duels. Duels are absolutely forged all the time. So this is one I'm very happy to open on camera. And this package, I will just say, is from that gentleman right there. So let's give good feedback if it turns out to be 100% legit, and let them know we don't care for forgeries if it's not. The feels good. There is light play around the edges, which again is a sign that this was played normally and therefore is more likely to be real than not. Let's do a weight test on it. 0.06, okay, so it passed that one. Let's take a quick look behind the plateau here. Wow, okay, that lights up very nicely. Very easy to read the Magic the Gathering right there, M-A-G-I-C, backwards. So I feel pretty good about that. One more test, just checking out the lettering. Now, why so many tests? Well, it just has to fail one. There have been forgeries that have been getting better and better, and they've been passing more and more of these. But in particular, when it fails just one of them, well, that should raise alarm bells. And if you look on my channel, you'll see ones that have been fake, and I caught them on camera. And so you can tell. Now, I'm going to call this 100% legit. That definitely looks like a real plateau. So I did not pay $100 for the plateau. I got it at a nicer discount than that, but not bad. Now is definitely a great time to be picking up dual lands like that. Okay, and the last piece. Now this is a nice sturdy packaging. I honestly don't remember what the hell might be in here. I ordered a lot. I got a little crazy this holiday season because, well, as the holidays, stuff was on sale and I was buying. Now is an excellent time to be buying if you're looking at older cards specifically, older EDH cards, legacy staples, vintage staples, 93, 94. Now is the time to be getting into that with stuff like Drop of Honey at the lowest it's been in a long time. Dejim, very low. The duels are even on a bit of a dip. This is an excessive amount of packing. I'm just going to say that right now. I did not buy any power. So this gentleman really wanted to make sure that everything was packed pretty nicely. Holy shit. And you're going to love this. So in the last envelope, we went from toilet paper, basically, to 6 to 7 different layers of cardboard to make sure that it didn't get dented or binged up, which I very much appreciate, although it's just slightly obnoxious when you're trying to unpackage it. There we go. 2, 4, 5. And what the hell was this? Okay, I see a card in there, and it was what? What was all this for? A wheel. A wheel. This is another one of my favorite pickups. I have 8 or 9 of these now. And it's definitely not yellowed from, it's the sleeve, if you didn't catch that. Or it shouldn't be yellowed from that. Okay. So that looks a little cleaner. Now, a reserve list wheel. I haven't seen a forger of these, but I'm sure they exist because this card has fluctuated usually in the $80 to $100 range, sometimes a little higher, 120 as high as it got, I think, earlier this year. And sometimes you can buy them as low as 70 bucks or so. So this is a card that occasionally you will see fakes of. I see what looks like a little bit of an indentation on the lower corner here, just kind of getting the sheen on all this. A little bit of play right there, but that was all in the eBay bid, so we knew about that. On the back, a little bit of nicking here, nothing too terrible. A little bit of nicking there, some regular play here. So just on the basic inspection, feels right, looks right. I would say this is real. Let's continue on with the tabulation of weight. Looking for 0.06, we got a 0.06. Looking to see the magic from behind. We see the magic from behind very clearly. And then, of course, just going to do a quick look at the wording. And the wording pretty clear pops out for us. So why the hell am I am going to do a video very soon on what I'm collecting and why. But as you can see from today's mail day, some reserve list staples and some near reserve list staples. So this is a nice little shipment of Wheel, Plateau, Concordant, and a couple Raffellos. This one is a gamble. I'd like to get a bunch of these because it's a gamble that could definitely pay off as a reserve list staple and as a commander. If this were unbanned, this would quadruple in value, guaranteed. This would definitely be the next mono green Savala, basically. I really believe in that heavily, and I think it could come off. I don't know when, but I do think as power levels creep up, I think you start seeing unbannings on certain things, and this is a prime target. Concordant Crossroads could see a reprint. It is not on the reserve list, sadly. But it's a fantastic card, and it's a finisher. If you're ever looking for basically an alpha strike or to be able to get your commander in and activate it at, basically that turn, this is a way to win and get it done. I've won many games just by getting this out, and my opponents don't have an extra turn. I just alpha strike. And people often don't see this coming. Wheel of Fortune, just one of my favorite pickups. They're on the low right now. You can pick them up anywhere from $70-ish, depending on condition and the quantity or whatever. So I'm a big fan. And duels are always just great. This one actually is going into a deck, but anytime you can pick up a duel, I recommend picking up a duel. All right, so that was today's mailbag. Wow, words. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all the rest. We will be having a New Year's Eve big block party here at the Basement Games. Thank you all for checking out this video. And yeah, send any questions to either our group, which is The Basement Games on Facebook, or you can find us at The Basement Games on YouTube where you're seeing this video. All right, everybody, take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.